everyone. Welcome back to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and I'm here today with Warren Carpenter. Hey, Warren, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys today?
Yeah, well, doing great. It just seems like this thing just keeps getting better and better. I want to show everybody this is hilarious. I saw this on the chats, and to my wonderful surprise, it was from you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I was the first to post it. I think I believe someone in our group put it together. We have a team of people that are doing a bunch of different stuff, and one of them is like these social media things. And as soon as that one came up, I was like, "That's mine. I'm taking it."
Do I get to join this group? I think this group is great. Hang on, let's pull this up a minute, and I want to show everybody what we're talking about today, because I went ahead and I've got this on my hang on one second.
All good.
Probably, let's see. We just want to tell everybody it's breaking news here tonight. We're only going to be on for a little while, but we wanted to show everybody what's happening, because the Republican Party right now is a train wreck. Does not even mildly describe what's happening here. And let's talk about it. We're talking about the entire state committee being on the hook for bad financial decisions. The entire state committee, the party, as well as Christina Caramo, having sanctions and her being in contempt of court. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Do I have that correct? So here you go. We're gonna throw this one up a minute, because this says, because the plaintiff is an unincorporated voluntary association, sanctions may be awarded against each member of the Michigan Republican State Committee individually.
Yeah. So
I don't know if everybody gets what's happening here, but these decisions are going to trickle down to everyone in the state committee. And with that said, I don't know how far this is going to go.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said in the report. And if you read the report, in the bottom of, I think, maybe the first paragraph, the 140-page report that was written through
the Carpenter report.
The Carpenter report.
The Warren report, right?
Yeah, but I think in that very first page of the summary, in that very first paragraph, the bottom sentence was, this has the potential to put people both at civil and criminal penalties. Well, I was proven right 100% on half of that, and I still think the second half is coming. So there are people that are absolutely, through a judge's order today in Hillsdale, they have been found on the state committee liable for sanctions in the amount of $500. Christina's got a $500. A bunch of people got $500 sanctions. But then the big takeaway of this is the attorney's fees. And so, talking with someone from the firm, the attorney fees are $50,000 or above.
Wow, this is going to be disastrous for people. Yeah. Because this isn't just the one thing. Now we've got the other.
So I want to back this up because two things happened today. Okay, two things in regards to the state committee members and their civil liability now as being members of a body in which attorneys and the chair are filing lawsuits without your approval or vote. Right. So just like in a court case, if you violate the law, ignorance is not a defense. Just because you say, well, I didn't know that we did it. Being on the board makes you a member, right? And it makes you say that you have responsibility for the actions of the organization. Now, two things happened. That's what I want to talk about. So one was the Hillsdale case. That was a contempt decision from the judge. The ruling in the Hillsdale case came out in October. Christina enjoined in the Hillsdale case sometime earlier in the year without telling anyone from state committee or a state committee voting on it, her and Dan Hartman. They acquired attorneys, they enjoined themselves on it, but when they enjoined into the case, right, this is like the Kalamazoo thing, the state party getting involved in telling a county who their chair can be and who their chair can't be, right? So when MRP enjoined in this, they enjoined as the central state committee. That means the entire 107-person body. That is the party. Christina is not the party. Dan Hartman is not the party. You are the party, right? If you're a state committee member. So the ruling came out in October that Christina was found to have lost the case and she was to remove a name from the website and recognize the party county chair in Hillsdale as adjudicated by a court of law. When she refused to do that, the judge today issued a contempt order, holding her in contempt of his ruling in August. So this goes to pattern of life. Just like she doesn't pay the parking tickets, just like she doesn't pay the bills, just like she doesn't want to pay the mortgage, just like she thinks that some building that's not hers is hers, right? She thinks she's above the law, and she obfuscated the responsibility to literally change a name on a website was the original judge's order. That's all she had to do. She didn't do it, and then the judge got her with contempt. And because of this, because of her inaction, the state committee is now liable for $50,000 of repayment. And this would have never happened if she would have just paid her parking ticket, so to speak.
And just not taking care of business.
And so that's one of the things that happened today. The other thing that happened today was the other court case, which was the first slide that you showed, which showed that the response from the trust.
Well, I can find that. Just hang on a minute. I'll bring that up real quick.
Yep. Yeah, the response from the trust came out today, and the trust is looking for a dismissal of the lawsuit with prejudice and sanctions on the entire state committee. So back to the report, when I said people would be held both civilly and criminally liable, the first part of that equation was that box was checked today. The party is officially civilly liable for actions that were never voted upon and were put forth by a rogue chair and a frivolous lawsuit slinging attorney, Dan Hartman, that now has them on the hook for at least $500 a piece, right? To total.
Well, that is you're seeing at least right now, because if you start looking at the liability of the debt of this party and the implications of how far this could go, we were last week where we were at what, like $8,200 a person.
Yeah, that's with so that's the other part of it. That's the other
part of this. But this is like
500 hasn't taken place yet, but the sanctions on that one are going to be massive, because this was only one attorney in Hillsdale, right? Now you're talking about one plaintiff on their side with all of their legal fees, and then one attorney on another side with all of their legal fees. Comerica Bank, Comerica's lawyers are not cheap, right? So you're going to have all that, plus you're going to get the judgment that we owe our mortgage, so to speak, right? It's not a mortgage, line of credit, but we owe our loan, right? You can't just go to the court and say, I don't want to pay my loan. It's not my loan. Christina's admitted that it's the party's debt. Okay. And because the lawsuit's frivolous, these people are going to get sanctioned. And then these are state committee people. These people right after Christmas literally got a $500 bill in the mail they didn't think was coming. And this is all being done in your name. And let me tell you something else. If it's not paid, a warrant will be issued for the arrest of Christina Caramo. That's in the judge's order. Excuse me 1 second.
This has gotten just crazier and crazier and crazier.
I keep telling people, but everybody says I'm a liar and I'm this and I'm that. Sure. Wait until the collection agency calls you up.
This is absolutely crazy. So this is 171 pages.
Yeah, that's John Lauterbach, his response from the trust, right? And at the bottom, you'll see that he says that we're right there. Oh, back it up. Right there. Go up a little bit. Right there, that little section right there. I think that's let me pull it up. I think that's it. Let me see where it is. But yeah, it says that, that the state committee members are responsible because of a law that's been on the books in Michigan for years and years and years that states if you're an unincorporated organization, meaning that you're not a corporation, you're just an organization of people, which is what a state party is. It's what all political parties are, that the members hold the liability for the decisions that the body makes. Well,
yeah,
she's making
names. Let me get there a minute.
Yep.
So at this point in time, if you're a committee member, right there.
Yep. Yeah, because plaintiff is an unincorporated voluntary association, the sanctions may be awarded against each member of the Michigan Republican Party individually. MCL 600-2051, paragraph 2 or line 2.
So now looking at this with all the people that are out there on the Michigan State or the state committee, what would you tell them right now? I'm going to let you, besides lawyer up people.
Yeah. So here's the thing. These are the things you can do. Everyone that's on the state committee can file with the attorney grievance council or commission, right, against Dan Hartman for enjoining them in a lawsuit in which they were named plaintiff, but never agreed or knew they were going to be plaintiff of, right? This lawsuit was filed unbeknownst to people inside the state body. Now, they will argue that the budget committee voted on it and that's enough. No, because the budget committee aren't the only people that are named. It's the entire state central committee. So you can file a grievance against Dan Hartman. Second, what you can do is remove Christina Caramo on 1-6, right, with your vote. And then the body itself can ask these lawyers to please dismiss the lawsuit without prejudice, and we'll withdraw. Allow us to withdraw, Judge, please, right? We didn't want to get into this situation, and maybe we can go back to paying our bills and move forward.
So we're gonna have to have some action there this weekend. I've been listening to the chats and such, and people are like, it's an illegal meeting. It's a this, that, and the other thing. And all I'm seeing is people being counseled to do nothing.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's like if you counsel, all of this spinning of information out there, Warren, you're bringing the receipts to all of this.
All of it, always.
And everybody else is just throwing their opinions out there.
It's worse than that. It's Saul Alinsky, character assassination.
Correct.
They're doing it with this unshackled the mitten thing and all this stuff. These people, if they had any facts on their side, that's what you would put up first. That's what I've done, right? I ran my mouth, but I backed it up with 140 pages. I backed it up with lawsuits. I backed it up with documents. I backed it up with bank statements. I backed it up with testimony. I backed it up with witnesses. I backed it up with the lawyer's credibility who wouldn't put it on the line if he didn't see what I saw, right? These people, what they say is, you're a drunk. You've done this. You've done this. You've got this. You've done this. It's not anything about what we're talking about. That is an Alinsky tactic. That's rules for radicals. That's Marxism, right? That's
Correct.
Democrats. And they're saying that we're the rhinos. These people are here to burn the party down. If you don't believe it now, you better learn quick, because now you're civilly liable for this.
Well, I think it's not just burning the party down, it's burning individuals down.
100%.
It's like, so if this is a, reaches into people's own pocketbooks because they're part of an organization and nobody's keeping their fingers on the pulse of this thing a little bit, just like the whole country, we've gotten to this point. If we don't stand up and pay attention to what's going on and have good people in place to watch out for all of us, this is exactly what's going to happen. You're going to get targeted, by default. And you almost have to look at this as somebody from the outside and say, this kind of feels like it was a setup from the beginning, but I don't know, Well, okay, I would rather believe that it's just because of sheer incompetence and negligence, but you don't know at this point.
But you say, so someone should look at it from the outside, and that's what Loomer did, right? Literally, yeah. That's what Laura did. Like she didn't just take my word for it. She went and looked at the report. I sent it to her when it came out on December 10th. Right. She didn't even report about this until the 27th. She said that she had her team on it for 2 weeks, going through all the stuff on unauthorized to track it back to JFK, to watch the podcast, to find the documentation, to do all the same research that we did to provide that product. That's how she came to that. She said, oh, now they're saying that I'm paying Laura Loomer. I can't, I can barely pay my own bills. Are you kidding me? This has cost me so much money. And then they're saying, oh, you're a yobbertive yobs. Nobody is paying for this. Let me be very clear about this. Nobody has given me $1 yet. Nobody has given me any money for any of this yet. This is all my work, all my elbow grease, and then the team behind it, right? And there are people that are investing their own personal time on state committee, and that are delegates and that are activists that are trying to help write this, right? We're supposed to be the party of law and order. I've said it a million times. So don't tell me we're the party of law and order when we skirt it. And this woman doesn't even pay her parking tickets. I can't wait till she doesn't pay this $500 because she blows it off like she did the last order from October, and a bench warrant gets issued for her arrest, and she's in cuffs. I told everyone she was going to be in cuffs. It's only a matter of time.
Well, you've got all the evidence there to really prove it and for people to go through. So on my Telegram channel at Brandenburg4MI, I have posted both of the PDFs of these cases so that people can look at the documents themselves and make up their own minds, because that's what we have to do. You know, we can say anything we want, but just look at it, read it for yourself. You know, none of us are asked, you aren't, I'm not asking anybody to do anything less than that. Then go
and then Donna,
it out.
Can you bring up the Hillsdale one and go to the,
Sure.
Let's bring up the Hillsdale one. And let's go down to, let's see here, the standard of proof. There's acts of defendants. Okay, this is where he sanctions them. Defend our 2A event. Hillsdale County website, blah, blah, blah. Number 4, right? It says acts of respondents, Michigan Republican State Committee, and Christina Caramo. This basically talks where she like basically shirks the entire court's response, like the entire court's order. Right. And totally like blows them off and kind of just tells them like, you know, hey, like, I'm basically not going to do it. Like middle finger to the court. And then if you go down to page 7, which is conclusion, right, there's 6 points. And this kind of, I just want to read this for the conclusion. It says the evidence establishes that the defendants, Mosby, Smith, and Gritzmaker, those are the attorneys that she hired, as well as respondents Caramo and the Michigan Republican State Committee. They didn't even know they were involved in this, but their bad name is being trounced on this, violated the court's April 28th, 2023 order. It's even earlier than that. In ways described above. These actions impair the functioning of the court because defendants and respondents have acted in direct defiance of the order by engaging in conduct enjoined by the order. Consequently, now the court does this. Before that, this was never the case, but now this is what the judge says. Because you didn't listen, because you were insular about it, because you skirt the law and you don't follow it, the court gives you these sanctions. Mr. Mosby, 500, Mr. Smith, 500, Mr. Grimsker, 500. Those are the attorneys. They got to pay 500 out of their pocket. And then respondent, Christina Caramo, 500. If she doesn't pay that, she'll get a bench warrant. And respondents, Michigan Republican State Committee is assessed a fine of $500. But 6 is the important part. Defendants Mosby, Smith, and Gritzmeyer, and respondents Caramo and Michigan State Central Committee shall pay plaintiff's attorney's fees related to the investigation and prosecution of the contempt. The liability of the defendants and respondents for the payments of the attorney fees shall be joint and several. That means everybody's responsible. So let's say that the state committee says, well, we're not going to pay it. Christina's going to pay it. And Christina says, okay, yeah, I'm going to pay it, but she doesn't. And then the lawyers say, okay, we're going to pay it, but they don't. Guess who's still held accountable? And we know how Christina doesn't pay the bills. So good luck, people. Vote her out.
There's got to be a change here because there's just way too much maladministration and just flat out ineptitude.
Oh, it's nuts.
It is nuts. Well, thank you for getting on here tonight and doing the breaking report. I really appreciate it. I love it that, we can talk about these things and get them out there so people know. I mean, the Republican Party is a dumpster fire right now because there's no leadership. And I think getting this stuff out here and telling people you're going to have to make a change.
Yeah.
And it's going to have to get past the popularity club right now and doing what needs to be done. I mean, that's honestly what any CEO would do, would go in there and just take that cut and make it quick. Yeah. Because you can't continually. She
doesn't have a mandate, Donna. Right? She was denied quorum on the December 2nd meeting, which means that she doesn't even have the majority. Any leader worth their salt, once they lost their mandate, and if they were steering an organization the way that they are, would resign. Only a person bent on, if it burns down, so be it, her quote, would do this to destroy the party. She's not a Republican. She's a terrorist. I'm serious.
Well, I tell you what, everybody out there, please continue to pay attention to this situation here, because, we're trying to sound the alarm a little bit and save people from honestly being in harm's way. And I think it's our responsibility, when you see something that is going to be harmful to people, you have to say something and at least help them protect themselves. So thanks for coming on tonight. Now you have another panel discussion tonight later on.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be on Rescue Michigan podcast tonight with Adam and Shane, and I'm sure some attorneys as well. Please tune into that if you're on state committee. It's going to be your last opportunity to really get some information before this goes down. I encourage everyone who has been maybe not informed or on the wrong side of this, like, it's not too late to do the right thing and understand that we're supposed to be working to elect President Trump, right, and help elect Republicans. And by not acting and ostriching, right, putting your head in the sand, putting your head in the sand, it doesn't move that forward. You're abdicating your responsibility and what you were elected to do. And I want to finalize on this one last point. She gaslights everybody saying that she's for election integrity. She can do all these things for election integrity. This woman has done nothing, right? She put an 82-year-old woman and an 82-year-old veteran both in the crosshairs of legal consequences for the canvassing situation in Royal Oak, and then also the failed lawsuit that Dan Hartman, Alexandria Taylor, Christina Caramo, and Phil O'Halloran got sanctioned for. Right, this old woman got sanctioned $58,000 from Detroit because they gaslit her to put her into a lawsuit that they lost. Dan Hartman has a habit of this, and it just so happens that now state committee is next on the line. If you don't want to get action like the rest of these people, stand up and do your duty.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Warren, and thanks for being on tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing you later on in your next podcast. And we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.